So both Mary and I are first-generation college students. We both grew up in small towns in Wisconsin. My father completed 8 grades, my mother 10. So college was a very new experience to me. And navigating college, understanding what it was like to be a college student was challenging. And I think the same is true for many first-generation college students, including many students here at Missouri Southern. You know, that said, I've seen not only in my own life, but the lives of many students, the impact that a college experience can have, how it has changed the path, the trajectory of their lives. So we are really proud here at Missouri Southern to serve many first-generation college students.
That's Dr. Dean Van Galen, president of Missouri Southern State University, reflecting on his experience as a first-generation college student. He and his wife Mary recently spoke at a celebration to recognize those students who are the first in their family to attend college. Presented by Project Stay, it marked the second year the university has observed the national celebration, which was established in 2017 by the Council for Opportunity in Education and the Center for First Generation Student Success. On this episode of MOSOounds, we sit down with Dr. Debbie Fort, director of Missouri Southern's Project Stay, and senior nursing major Taylor Boyette to talk about how this university works to help these students navigate the world of higher education.
There's lots of definitions for first generation in higher ed. We don't really all agree on one, but for the federal TRIO programs, the definition is a student whose parents who raised them, the people who raised them, did not earn a bachelor's degree before that student turned 18 years of age. Project Stay serves students who meet one of 3 qualifiers actually. The first is first generation. The second one is you have limited income, generally speaking, if you qualify for a Pell Grant or Missouri Access Grant. And then the third one is if you have any kind of a documented disability. It can be physical, it can be PTSD, test anxiety, there's a wide variety. But the basic premise of what we do is we want to make sure students graduate. So in '65, Johnson passed the Higher Education Act, and the premise was that no one should be precluded from going to college on the basis of color or gender or finances. So if you want to go to college, there should be a way to do that. So our goal basically is to help students to graduate. Being a first generation comes with its own unique characteristics. I'm a first gen also. One of the things that for my own self it's called imposter syndrome. You feel like, oh, I'm not really good enough to be doing it. Someone's going to figure it out. And so part of it is helping students negotiate the culture of university life. If they've not had a family member go before them, then they really don't know. For example, 2 things I see pretty frequently in freshmen. One is they're used to going to school all day, 8 to 3. Then they play sports, or they do an activity, or they have a job, and then they come home and do homework at 11, 12 o'clock at night. So they've got this time management system that once they get to college, it completely changes. You're not here 8 to 3. You're maybe here 4 hours on any given day. You have this big chunk of time in the afternoon you can be doing homework, but their body and memory muscle doesn't know you can do homework in the afternoon at 2 o'clock. I see that happen a lot with our students. Another common thing that I see is in high school, you only go to tutoring if you are failing a class. But on the university level, smart kids go to tutoring. Writing tutors go to chemistry tutors, and chemistry tutors go to writing tutors. And that's a very different mindset from high school. And then another thing that I see is students are not used to dropping classes. In high school, you don't get to drop classes. And so generally speaking, students will stay in a class even though they're failing it because they don't know. So one of the things I think that we do really well is work with financial aid and understand, the 67% pass rate that's necessary and the certain grade point average, and it's better to drop a class. Students don't know that it's okay, number one, and number two, they think, they failed, but it's okay. We're all good at things and we're all not so good at things. So it's okay to drop a class, and that's something that if you've not had a family member go before you in college, you don't know it's okay to drop a class.
What are some of the ways that the program here at Missouri Southern helps our first generation students?
We have a variety of services that we provide to them. One thing that you think, so what, big deal, is they get to print for free. That does not sound like a big deal, but when a syllabus is 30 pages and it's 10 cents a page, then that adds up. We survey our students every year, how can we improve the program? And one thing they told us this fall was, we need to be able to print in color, particularly for biology students who need to print the charts of all the different systems. So we got a color printer for them. Another thing they told us was they need a notary public. I don't know why they need a notary, but they said they needed one, so we found a notary for them. So we try really hard to be attentive to what the students need and provide that service for them. So printing is one of those, doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but really is a nice thing. Another important thing is priority enrollment. Why that is important is priority enrollment means they are enrolling at the same time as seniors, students with disabilities, some athletes, and the students in the honors program. What that means is you get to select the teacher, the time, the days, before everything is all chosen before you get to it. We have a licensed professional counselor on staff. Some students never see her, some see her once in a while, and some see her regularly. It's up to the student to decide. We do job shadowing because we think that's really important to get you out into the real world. We take students on trips, we provide cultural activities. There are things in our program that we are required to do, like advising, and there are things that we are allowed to do, like trips. We are allowed to provide scholarships, so we give grant aid to students. We give about a dozen of those a year. We are required to provide financial literacy. So we did a workshop not too long ago on how to pay for graduate school. Eddie in our office is very good at the stock market, so he did a workshop this fall on how to invest in the stock market like your Warren Buffett. So we do assessments with every student when they come in. We do a career assessment, we do a study skills assessment, and we do a financial literacy assessment so that we know where the students are at. Each student writes their own goal. Every fall we meet with each individual student. We serve 175. The student determines what they want their goal to be. Generally it's something about GPA or passing a certain class, but this year I had one whose goal was to travel internationally. He's taking advantage of our program and going to Japan. One of my favorite goals was a dad that we had in our program, and his goal was to stay at school to do my homework, so when I get home I'm dad and husband, and I just love that goal. So a goal can be educational, financial, personal, it's your goal.
Taylor, I noticed you were nodding pretty heavily about the printing.
The printing is definitely a plus, yes. It's just nice to be able to know that you can, like, I'm able to print out like all of my PowerPoints, whereas before I'm like, I'm not going to spend 10, 20 cents a page, whatever it is, on printing out 200 PowerPoint slides. And they give me that opportunity to be able to write notes. I'm much better with doing written notes than I am to, like on a computer, so that always helps me. For me, Project Stay has been yes, the printing, but it's been a lot of emotional support, a lot of scholastic support, because, there was a lot of frustrations my first year of nursing school of just, it's a huge undertaking. And I don't know how many times I've walked into Debbie's office and just been like, I don't know if I can do this. And she would just sit there and listen to my frustrations and then talk to me about, let's see what we can do about this. The financial aspect, she's helped me a ton with helping me apply for Pell Grants, helping me find out that I was eligible for Pell Grants. I didn't even know I was eligible. And that I found out she helped me get those, which was a huge help for me since I'm living up in here alone and I pay my own bills. So that was like the biggest blessing of my life, of her helping me find scholarships, helping me find grants and things like that. So that Project Stay has made a huge impact on my life in those ways.
And that's it for this episode of MOSOounds. We'll be back with you soon with more stories from Lion Country.